Testing. Testing. Got it. Hey, Darren.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
I just sent you over the YouTube live link. Can you just go ahead and test it for me and then send it over to the troops?
Give me 1 second here.
Not a problem.
I'm just posting Apple chat real quick.
Not a problem.
Chat. So let's post this real quick. Okay, so link. Stream starting soon.
That's my background. That's just so when people come in, they know it's coming soon. I literally got the picture off Google.
Yeah, you're good to go. If you want to post it in the chat, because I'm posting a bunch of other
Yep,
shit.
you got it, no problem. What is going on, everybody? How was everybody's New Year? As well as holidays, actually. I will be in and out working on the watch list. All right, Darren. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's a little small for everybody. Okay. I don't know what everybody could see or not with this, but. I'm just going to go ahead, guys, and get started in about a minute or so. All right, everybody. It is 9 p.m. So let's go ahead and get started with Sunday Stock Talk for No Cap Trading. I myself, Stephen Rogerson, will be going over some charts today, as well as my other head trader and partner, Darren. He actually put together a nice little watch list for everybody for this upcoming week, which I have posted right now on the screen for everybody. That being said, so far on the watch list, what we have is Square for an entry at 215 with a support and invalidation under. Secondary entry with a clear break of 220. This is more of a medium to long-term play, but one that he really likes. Do not rush an entry on here. We're looking for the 230 calls for January 29th expiration. Second on the watch list will be PayPal. Enter at support at 230. Invalidate this trade, of course, underneath. Secondary entry will be a clear break of that 235, and we're looking to play the 235 calls, which have nice volume on them for January 29th as well. Space, we like a bounce off of that 23 support level. I would try to buy closer to that support around 23. If it breaks below 23, we're going to invalidate the trade and cut it quickly. We're looking for a clear break of 23.25 for this entry. We both really like this trade, as well as we're looking for January 29th calls. We want to give those a little bit of time. Apple, we are watching and expecting a push to 134.50 with a possible rejection. I would like to see a pullback before an earnings run up. I am not calling out a specific play for Apple, but we'll be watching it and alerting the group live in chat every single day. And we'll actually be trying to play Apple on both sides. So if we see a rejection in Apple, we'll be playing Apple on the downside. If we see a nice little push up in Apple, we'll be playing it on the long side. Disney, we're expecting continuation of the trend. We really like the 180.50 level for an entry, as well as the support. A break above 183.50 would be a nice entry for the 185 calls. We actually put on the watch list that we'll be watching the January 15th expiration on those. Another stock will be NEO. We're looking for a clear break above 50. On a pullback, we'll be watching the 48 and 46 levels. We'll be playing the 55 calls for January 15th. That was Darren's watch list, everybody. So thank him, of course, for writing up that watch list. Put a long amount of time and effort into that watch list today. Some other stocks we will be watching off that watch list as well. Will be Netflix, Jumia, Palantir, Verizon, Zoom, and Twitter. That being said, guys, I also put together a quick little small watch list for everybody and wrote some quick little notes for, for some trades that I'll be watching. The first trade I'll be watching is NEO. There's been a lot of hype around NEO lately, guys. There's always hype around NEO. We could see on Thursday, on New Year's Eve, we actually traded a lot of volume on NEO. We had 130,000 shares traded over here. Let me open up NEO really quick for you guys. So this is a one-day chart. And we could see that with NEO, it has been bouncing and holding this bottom support line very strongly right here. And that I drew a quick little pennant for you guys. So we see a break of this top pennant line right over here on NEO. And I'm looking for a continuation to retest that 57. There's a lot of pending news on NEO right now. We do have NEO Day coming up over the weekend. I believe it's Saturday the 9th. Don't quote me on that date. I'll look into that for you guys. But we do have NEO Day coming up this week. with Neo, they have an overall of an increase of 121% year over year sales. They've been crushing it lately on all of their guidance and all their expectations. Plus, we have Neo Day coming up. A lot of hype, a lot of volume in this stock. If we see some buyers actually stepping in, we could definitely push this thing over 50. Once we break that 50 level, I think we're going to retest that 57 level. So Neo is probably the number one stock on watch for us. Secondary stock on watch for me today, or for this upcoming week, will be Tesla. Of course, Tesla's another EV company that is high volume, always traded, always on everybody's watch. We did make an all-time high push on Thursday. We did touch at 718 level with a little rejection of that, little pullback to, and we closed at 705.67. That being said, NIO reported over this weekend that they did actually deliver on their expected guidance, and they sold 500,000 vehicles year over year. For the 2020 year, they have a delivery of 36% increase year over year, as well as 67% from Q4, which is really big for Tesla. That being said, they broke that 500,000 level, and I think that we will see a continuation play out of this pennant. We could see that we broke this previous all-time high where it got rejected at previously at that like 696 level, and now that we finally broke that 700 level, I'm thinking that we will see a continuation on Tesla to the upside. My next stock on watch will be Micron Technology. So with Micron Technology on the one-day chart, we could actually see some type of consolidation. Let me zoom out a little bit here for you guys. So we could see a consolidation on Micron right over here, and that we were playing in this channel probably in the last month or so, about like month and a half. This channel has been existing for. Every single time that it touched this 74.50 level, it got rejected. We could see it touch once here, and then got rejected, touched it again for a third time right here, and pulled back to the bottom of the channel at that 70 level. The 70 was the sweet spot to buy this thing up. It finally did push up these last few days, and it did cross that 74.50 level, which was the break of that channel. I think that we could see Micron continue to push. Micron has been very strong in the technicals. One thing to mention though is that we do have a earnings report on January 7th and after hours. So I'm looking to play Micron up into earnings, sell it before earnings, and then what I always do is I will play the reaction of earnings. So guys, keep in mind, with companies that do have earnings for that same week, if you're playing same week expo or next week expiration on options contracts, we will see a much higher IV, and the prices will be very, very high on all options contracts, so play it accordingly. With any earnings report, guys, it's honestly gambling. We don't know how the company is going to do. Nobody has a crystal ball. So what I like to do is I always play it up into earnings and see how it reacts to earnings, and then sell before earnings, and then I'll play again after earnings. So I'm not going to hold this through an earnings report and hope that the earnings was good or bad. I'm going to buy in after the earnings and play it accordingly. My next stock on my watch list will be ticker symbol SPCE. I speak about space a lot. It's Virgin Galactic. It honestly had no volume traded on it on Thursday, which was a little bit of a scary sign for me. That being said, Space did release some news over the weekend that they got a new contract for $150 million to launch space development agency satellites into space, of course. So that being said, this news might actually bring some volume into the stock and push it up. Why we had this strong pullback was because of a failed launch about a month and a half ago. What happened during the launch was actually nobody passed away, which is a really good sign. The engines wouldn't turn over at the launch, and it was just a failed launch. Pretty much scared some investors out. You could see this huge seller volume and this huge crash down here. So we could see around like 95% seller volume in these candles right over here, and you could see the huge gap fill right here. That was all due to the failed launch. I think the stock will consolidate, which it actually has been doing, of course. And I think we will see a push in this soon. I'm using this 23 level as a support. We can see that it touched it twice in my little rectangle right over here. Both times it touched it, it bounced off of it. I'm looking for a clear break of this top little candle right here, right around like 24.30 for my entry. And then once I get that clear break, I'm going to try to ride this upwards. I think it might actually gap up overnight, and we might see it open up above that 24.30 level, which would be my entry on it. So I'm going to probably be playing this in the morning according to how it opens up. But space will be definitely on my watch list. That being said, we're also watching Palantir, Disney, and Square. So Palantir, we did break below this bottom support line right here, right around that 24 level. So I want to see how Palantir reacts in the morning. It did have a bloody sell-off on Thursday. It's down about 6% on Thursday alone. We can see a lot of seller volume and seller pressure, and sellers are really in control right over here. That being said, I do expect Palantir to be a play. Just we don't know how we're going to play it yet. So is it going to bounce back up into the channel and we play calls on it, or will we have to play some puts on it and possibly ride this down and fill the gap where it's down? So when I'm talking about filling the gap, we could see all these gaps with the wicks over here, guys. So it's pretty much like you can see all these wicks. I want to just fill in these wicks and see where the support levels will be. So if I was to play Palantir, I would probably play on the put side down to 22.30, and then my next support would be around 19. What else are we watching? I'm also talking about Square. So Square has been a constant sell-off. We're looking to play Square, and we want to really see what it does around this 213 level. See if it retests this 213. I'll draw a quick line for you guys. So right around this 213 level, where we could see the bottom of that bar, right over here, that 213. We're going to really see how Square opens up. Square as well as PayPal are both cryptocurrency stocks currently. They both accept cryptocurrency as payments, and payment transfers and everything like that. So with Bitcoin pushing up a lot over the weekend, a lot over the holiday, I want to see how Square and PayPal act accordingly. Ever since PayPal has got the news of the Bitcoin acquisition, or cryptocurrency acquisition, excuse me, they have been booming. I believe, gosh, somewhere over here around like that 208 level is when they announced that they were going to be doing crypto. So they're up almost $30-$40 since then. PayPal is also on my watch. We want to really just see how it reacts right around that 229 to 230 level, right over here. Right there. Other stocks that we had on our watch list. Let me just pull that up one more time for you guys. Were Netflix, Jumia, Verizon, Zoom, and Twitter. That being said, guys, we're going to be playing accordingly, of course. We're going to be in live node every single day. If anybody does any questions, please let us know now. Me and Darren are both in the chat right now to answer any questions either live or message us privately on Discord. But that will be our watch list for this upcoming week. I know it is a little bit smaller of a group tonight, so if there is any questions, please let us know. I have a question on how to find support and resistance. Okay, not a problem, Kyle. Give me just 1 second. I'll pull up a stock where I can maybe show it to you a little bit better. Let me pull up AMD for us. Maybe would have some nice support and resistance. Oh boy, we could see I trade AMD a lot, huh? Let me take off that show trades really quick. Gosh, that looked crazy for a second. Who saw that? All right. All right, Kyle. So this is something that I chart a lot on. It's ticker symbol AMD. So a support line would be where the stock bounces off of a lot. Obviously, let's talk about support. Support is where something is being supported. So, some. What would be a good example right here? This 9140 level. So we could see multiple different times that AMD has touched 9140, and every single time it bounced off of the support. So we could see right over here this little sweet spot for AMD, right? So this is a little buying zone, I call it. So when I say a buying zone, you can see where the wicks touch and they come back up. That being said, this would be a strong support for me because every single time that it touched this range over here, that 9140-ish range, it bounced up. So here it touched it, here it touched it, here it touched it, touched it multiple different times, right? Every single time it gets in this little zone, it bounces off of that zone. And then so that would be your support zone. So that's what you're trying to look for, is a previous zone in which that the stock has bounced off of it multiple different times. So let's go ahead and remove that. And then resistance would be something that can't break. So let's go up right over here to this 92.45 range. You could see I actually have a few different rectangles on it. So we could see right over here, it bounced up here, got rejected. Bounced up here again, got rejected multiple different times. Bounced up here again, got rejected. Touched this on the top wick again, got rejected. Touched it again over here, got rejected again. So what you could really see is it getting rejected right over here. So that would be your resistance. Resistance means that it cannot break through it. Kyle, I hope that answered your question. Guys, if there's any other questions, please let us know before we hop off. What indicators can be used to help find the levels of the fall and rise? What indicators? Okay, so the indicators that I'm going to be using is I use mainly my number one indicator will be my volume. Volume will be everything in a stock. If you have no volume in the stock, don't touch it. The spreads will be way too high. What a spread is the difference between the bid and the ask. The bid is what buyers are willing to pay for it. The ask is what sellers are willing to pay for it. So you can see over here, I actually have my bid and ask up on my watch list right here. Something like NIO, which has a lot of volume over here, you can see it has 130 million shares traded on Thursday. It has only a spread, it's called, between 1 cent. You could see 48.97 and 48.98. Now something that has much lower volume, the spread will be much bigger on it. So if we go down over here to Shopify, you can see it only traded 800,000 shares on Thursday. I would have never touched it. It has a $2 spread. That means for you to buy this stock, you need to meet that buyer and seller in the middle. So if it's a $2 spread, you can most likely get filled around the $1.50 on it difference. So that means that you have to be willing to spend an extra $1.50 just to buy the stock, which means you're going into the trade automatically on the negative side. So we always want to avoid stocks that have big spreads between the bid and the ask, and you could always tell that by the amount of volume traded in the company. The more volume, the more buyers, the more sellers there are. So the spreads would be much smaller. That would be my number one indicator for trading in general. My other indicators will be my RSI scanner, which would just pretty much measure when a stock is overbought, oversold. MACD is very popular. You could use level 2 scanners, active trader. There's a lot of different stuff. I try to keep it simple. I don't try to rely too much on indicators. I really like to trade based off of what the charts show me and tell me. So if I see a nice, breakup channel, or if I see, something that actually will give me a buying signal versus just indicators, I'll use more of my charting experience to get in or out of a trade. And one way that you could determine how to get out of a trade is when the buying pressure gets very weak, and you could see that the buying candles get much smaller, and then you could see a potential rejection. Your Bollinger Bands would be pretty much your volatility. So your Bollinger Bands would be just your volatility scanner pretty much. When a stock is about to get more volatile, there's about to be more volume stepping into it, you'll see the bars start to expand a little bit more. MACD will pretty much be just buying and selling. No, Kyle, ask all the questions you want. VWAP will be pretty much your volume weighted average. So if you do like a VWAP, you could do something like a 20-day. So it'll be the last. It'll be like a measurement system of the last 20 days of where the average was throughout those 20 days. So that would be like something like a VWAP. So you could like play stuff off of the VWAP, do VWAP bounces. If something's trading above the VWAP, it means that there's more buyer pressure and the buyers are in control. If it's trading under the VWAP currently, it would mean that the sellers are in control. So it's pretty much just a measurement system to see who's in control of the trade at that specific time. And the VWAP would be just a volume weighted average. And then MACD will be pretty much, MACD is kind of similar to the RSI. It'll be like when stocks are getting hot and when they're getting cold. MACD will be like a difference of a RSI plus a volume indicator. So like MACD, you would start to see expand when the volume gets much higher, and then it will be either green or red based off of what type of volume it is, buyers or sellers. JM, do you have any questions? I know we got a little bit smaller of a group today, so guys, ask away. We really don't mind. Yeah, JM. So I'm a full-time day trader. I trade Monday through Friday every single day, as well as my partner Darren. We will be trading live every single morning in our live note through the Discord group. All you have to do is, let me just pull it up real quick and I'll show you. If you've never been in there before, I'll just show you. So right over here under the No Cap Trading live chat, right over here, just click on this, and then you could actually ask us questions live while we all trade. So we'll be doing call outs. We'll be, talking about what stocks we're watching, every key levels on the stocks, where we enter, where we exit, as well as answering questions live. Just, of course, please, show some respect and stay on mute until you have questions, just so there's not too much background noise, and we could keep it, of course, open to everybody. So Kyle, when you see smaller candlestick patterns, that doesn't always mean a reversal. That just means that there's less volume at that specific time. So, this might be a bad example actually, but if something's kind of like consolidating and the candles get really small, like other stocks, let me see if I can find another stock. That'd be a good example of. So you could see on Space right over here. Let me get rid of this real quick. You could see this like consolidation, right? That's pretty much just means that there's very low volume. So you could see the bars are really small over here versus like bigger bars that are over here and over here. But let's go down on the bottom of my chart over here and look at my volume measurement system. So you could see my volume down here is much greater for these bigger bars. And then you can see my volume over here during my consolidation on Tuesday and Thursday, the volume bars are very, very small. And this little yellow line right here is actually the average volume for this specific stock. So you could see when the average volume for this stock increases, the size of the bar will increase and follow accordingly. You could see when the volume, it decreases and the volume bars are very small, that means that there's not much volume in the stock. The bars as well, the candlesticks get very small. So the size of the candlesticks really is just a measurement of how much volume is being traded in the company. Do you think TSPG is a good buy since they just got a new CEO and has 5 other great companies? I'll look into it for you. Let's see, TSPG. What is this? TGI Solar Power. Oh, this is a micro stock. Okay, I wouldn't even call this a penny stock. This is a micro. Okay. How long? I personally don't trade companies like this. You could see it's like 0.0001%. I personally don't trade companies like this. You could see it's up 78% on the day. Something like this, this is just buying and hoping that the company goes up and that, becomes something. If you threw 10 or 20 bucks at this, so be it. Yes, this is TOS, Kyle. I personally don't trade these kind of companies. I would rather trade things that I use that is a big company. I don't really know anything about this. They have very small market cap. A lot of the times with companies like this that are priced out like this, there's a lot of insider trading and manipulation. You can't really get that good of fills on this as well. So people on a company like this, they're buying like 10,000, 100,000 shares at one time. They don't know what price they're paying for it. Like you could see up here, right over here where my mouse is, this is the difference between the bid and the ask. So the bid on this is 0.0104 and then the ask is 0.118. So you could already see for a micro stock, the spread on this is pretty big. 0.16 of a cent on the spread. That's almost like a 15% decrease in the actual price, if you want to look at it like that. So So something like this, I personally stay away from. I've never enjoyed trading stuff like this. I feel like it's more of the gambling side. There's not real charting patterns behind this. There's nothing really to this company right here for me. Like look at this chart. Like this is just madness to me. So do we see a continuation on the upside, or do we see a pullback and a sell off? You don't really know what's going to happen with these kind of companies. I always think that this is gambling. Um, that being said, there's nothing wrong if people make money trading this kind of stuff. It's just not my style. I personally like trading things that I use, like Apple, every single day. I know Apple, there's no manipulation in the stock. They have a $2 trillion market cap. There's 100 million shares a day traded on Apple. Like, I like trading things that I use and I trust, because it just always works out better that way. And you could even see the volume on Thursday. Um, the daily average volume is 9.8 million on this stock, and then on Thursday you had a 126 million average volume traded on this stock. That just shows me that this thing was, of course, pumped up like crazy, as you could see by this huge green candle. And then a lot of people probably bought at the top over here, and now they're still bag holding because of the sell-off. And a lot of people took profits on this, and that's what caused that big sell-off. So I think that this thing honestly either could go both ways, but like I said, it's all gambling. If you like this kind of stock, or you believe in the company, I would really look into the company longer term, see what the company's trying to do, their future outcast, what really is good about this company, if they have any possible new inquisitions, any big business plans going on, any big goals for 2021, and then I would buy them and hold them long term. That being said, though, I don't trade stuff like this. I look at this chart and I think that it's honestly just like, it's not a scam, but it's just all manipulated. It's all insider selling and all manipulation. But the difference between bid and ask. So the reason why we have a bid and ask, of course, if you've ever seen any markets trade live, the reason why we have a bid and ask is by the time you click that sell button, that stock has already changed in value. So like something like NQ right here. So this is the NASDAQ future. That's the only thing that's open right now, is the futures market right here. So we could see right here, it's changing in price, right? You could see right up here, it's changing in price every like millisecond. Markets right now, it's futures markets on a Sunday night, so it's a little bit slower. Um, but the stock prices are changing every microsecond. So we need a bid and ask system, because by the time you click that buy button, and then it gets processed and gets sent to the broker, and then the order actually gets filled and executed, the price will change and fluctuate. So the bid and the ask will be pretty much just the difference between what the buyers are willing to pay for the stock, and what the sellers are willing to sell for the stock. So like I said before, I'm gonna use this NEO as an example. You could see that the bid is 48.97 and the ask is 48.98. So that's something that I would like to trade, is something like a small spread. And then of course, the more expensive the stock, the bigger the spread gets. Like, so you could see Tesla right here is a 20-cent spread. Something like Amazon, which is a $3,000 stock, would have, like a $3 spread right here. But there has to be a bid and an ask spread. One way that you could always take advantage of the spread is you could do limit orders. And what a limit order is you're telling the broker, I'm only willing to pay X amount of dollars for this company. So I'll use like Apple, for example. So Apple's currently trading at $139.69. So let's make believe that they had a big spread, let's say like 50 cents or $1, and I didn't want to pay for that spread and go down on the trade. I would put in a limit order, let's say for $1.3265. And then if the stock hits $1.3265, and if it has a seller at that specific price that's willing to just get out of the stock, let's say on a market order, then they'll fill me at that specific price and only that price. That's what a limit order is good for. Thoughts on Pizza. So this is, of course, a Corona stock. It is kind of consolidating this little zone right here. I think that once coronavirus and the vaccine starts to really come out, that we will see Palantir start to sell off. Of course, they already made a huge name for themselves, and the sales have been, of course, amazing because of just great timing, to be honest, with the whole coronavirus. That being said, I would really see what happens with the whole vaccine news and how their sales are, and then play it accordingly on either the long side or the short side. With Peloton, I think that over time we will start to see a big sell-off on the company once everybody starts going back to the gym, once the vaccine is open to the public more, and everybody's starting to get it, and life starts to go back to normality, if you want to call it that. Now we'll see a big sell-off in Peloton. There is no real necessary use for a $3,000 treadmill bike with a giant iPad on it for some people once the gyms do open back up, and people are more comfortable and not as nervous and scared of the virus. So I don't like them for long term. For a short term, I would look for a break right here of that 155 level where it got rejected. You could see right over here. I'll zoom in on this candle real quick for you. You could see right around where my top line is at this 155 level that you have this huge bottom wick right here, and then it came back up and then closed here. Started this next one. It failed to push right here. Failed to push. You can see by this top wick. So this bar closed right here. This one opened up right here. It pushed up, failed it, and then came back down. Touched it again, got rejected both times. Touched it, I would say another 4 or 5 times, and got rejected multiple different times. So I would be using this 155 resistance as my entry once it breaks above it. So you want to see a nice break above this 155 for your entry with some nice volume behind it. You don't want to see a small break above it and then it gets rejected and comes back in the zone and then you bought at the top of that resistance. Is Tesla a hold right now or sell to make a quick profit? JM, I'm assuming you've already been in Tesla and you're currently holding it. That being said, Tesla does have that outstanding news right here. I really do like Tesla because it broke this pennant. Let me pull it up on a one-day chart for you. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think that was zoomed in enough. So right over here. So you could see this little pennant right here. So it failed to break that 696 level twice, and then it finally broke above it on Thursday. And it did close above it, which is a really good sign for us to see a nicer upside on this on the stock. That being said, we also did have news come out over the weekend where Tesla's deliveries are up 36% year over year, as well as they reached their 500,000 mark for 2020 with their overall sales. So I believe that's actually good news and positive catalyst, which will continue to push Tesla up. So if you do own it right now, I believe Tesla will continue to push here. Darren's actually saying in the chat, Tesla to 780. Darren's been saying Tesla to 780 all the last week, and he has been nothing but spot on with Tesla. Darren has been killing Tesla lately. Kid's got like a crystal ball with that stock. That being said, if you are currently holding Tesla, I don't see a reason to sell it right now. I think you hold it and you sit on your hands tight. If you do own multiple shares of Tesla right now, don't be scared to take some profits off of the table and hold some extra shares and let the additional shares run. But that being said, with a positive catalyst of them reaching their 500,000 mark year for the 2020 year, as well as them breaking this top pennant right here, I think Tesla's a really good hold right now. Because it sounds like you're already holding the stock. And yeah, Darren's really watching that 780 level. Yeah, I'm staying long until it breaks that SMA as well, Darren. I like Tesla here. I'm always scared to chase Tesla with how much it's up on the year. It is up almost 1,000% on the year, and it just continues to push. So I am scared to chase Tesla. I play Tesla as day trades more often than not. That being said, with this positive catalyst and the break of the pennant, as well as it trading above and holding that SMA, I would just hold it if you're already in. But you could see from this low to this high, we could see Tesla is up 970% in 290 days. which is pretty insane to think about. I believe they're the fifth or sixth largest company in the entire world, which made Elon Musk the second richest man in the world. And I believe he's estimated to be worth $135 billion total, right behind Jeff Bezos of Amazon. So sell after 780. We really like that 780 level. So JM, just to let you know, Tesla is at all-time highs right now. So there is no previous charts that we could, base it off of, previous rejection zones and stuff like that. I would sell Tesla until you see a big break. I would honestly I would hold on to Tesla until you see a strong rejection in Tesla and then get out with your profits. We really like that 780 level because every single time Tesla got around, like let's say like 680, 580, 480, it struggled to reach that next 100 level. But that's why I believe we're going at that 780 level. But yeah, I would continue to hold right now. When filling in a long-term order, what order specifics do you put? Kyle, what do you mean by that? Because every single trade is going to be different from trade in, trade out. Are you asking me what I'm looking for in long-term plays? It'll go over 1K this year. Hey, it could possibly go over 1K. Nobody has a crystal ball. I mean, the stock is up over almost 1,000% on the year, but it looks just like everybody's just buying this thing up. They love Tesla, and they're just going to continue riding it to the moon. Yeah, Kyle. So you're going to do a GTC cancel, which stands for good to cancel, if you want to do a specific order. So like, let's say you wanted to sell, I'm just going to make up an example here, guys. Let's say you wanted to sell Tesla at 725 and 725 only. GTC means that it's good to cancel. So other order types are going to be day orders, which will be canceled out if that stock doesn't reach that specific price in that trading day. So GTC will be good to cancel. So that's really if you just want that order to be, pretty much like a swing order, pretty much. So like if you set up a sell limit at 725, that pretty much means that a 725 GTC pretty much means that I'm only selling this stock if and only if it reaches $725, and then good to cancel will pretty much just postpone you into the next trading day. Is NOK a good speculative long-term hold? They had lots of great news come out recently. I'm not currently familiar with what NOK is. NOK Airlines Public. Nokia? Is this the phone company? No, right? What is NOK? So with NOK, I don't really know much about the company. That being said, NOK doesn't look that bad here. The volume is very low on NOK right now. So you could see if I scroll on down over here, this little gold bar right here is actually my average volume that the stock trades. And you could also see over here my daily average is 23 million shares a day. And on Thursday it traded 17 million shares. That's why it's below the gold bar. So I want to see some volume step into NOK for me to buy this. I personally don't buy stocks that are $3. I personally just don't like the way that they move. If they move a few cents, the moves are very dramatic in the stock. That being said, if you do own this already, I would look for a gap fill. And when I say gap fill, this is what I'm talking about right here. Let me just put this on. So you could see, for some reason, overnight, on October 27th, that this thing went from $4.20 to $3.40. So this little gap right here, I would try to fill up. So this top zone right here would be at 420 would be my next resistance level. You could also see it got rejected right over here. Right here. So you could also see the rejection right over here at 420. So if you're in this already, I would try to ride this up to 420, 412 minimum. That being said, I personally don't trade penny stocks. Oh, Nokia. Wait, it is Nokia. Oh, okay, yeah. When I typed in NOK, look, NOK. I've never traded this stock before. I wasn't sure what this was. But hey, look, if they have good outstanding pending news, maybe it's worth just buying and holding long term. I wouldn't put too much money into this though. That being said, it's a $3 stock. I don't know how big your portfolio is. I personally trade with around $50,000. I would probably spend like 500 bucks or less on this with my size account. That being said, this is kind of like more of a like buy and hope for long term good news. You could really see even with the news that you're talking about of the NASA contract, the stock hasn't really done much. And this is a 10-year chart on the stock, and you could really just see like it's been just slowly downtrending year over year. I personally don't really like this. That being said, I might not just like this because I'm not a penny trader. But you could also see, like, look at these bars. Okay, you have 125 shares. Yeah, see, that's not really. I mean, if it's not too much money to you, I would just hold that forever and just see what the company really does. Like, I'm just out of curiosity, I want to see how much 125 shares is worth. So 125 times $3.91. All right, so yeah, it's worth $488. Just like I said, I would probably spend $500 or less on it and then just throw it away in my long-term portfolio and not check it for 10 years. Hopefully it goes up. That's what you do with companies like this. Hold it for 10 years, hope it goes up. You spend 500 bucks on it. I would rather you throw that $500 into some trusted options trades with us and trade stuff that we actually know of, stuff like Apple, Palantir, Neo, AMD, Baba, Facebook, whatever we're currently calling out. Most of our options contracts are $500 or less. And we're seeing returns of 20 to 200% in a matter of a day or two. So with that $500, I feel like you can make it, worth more while trading options. I am an options trader. Darren's an option trader specialist as well. We both do this full time for a living. So I mean, I would maybe just try to follow us into a few trades with that same $500 and try to, turn $500 into, a much bigger amount than just buying and praying that a company works out. But everybody does have their own trading style and their own opinions on it. So if you do want to hold that, I would hold it for minimum 10 years. I do also want to just go over some charts that Darren posted in the group for everybody. That being said, it might not be full screen for everybody, so of course, please pull this up on your end as well. So we could see Square is in a downwards channel right here. Guys, this is posted in our charting section under the no cap trading hashtag. So if this is a little bit on the smaller side, this is posted by Darren right here. So we could see Square right here, guys, is in a downward channel right here. We're looking to see if Square gets rejected off this top red line right here in this downward channel and then continues to retest this bottom, which we'll be playing puts on it, or we could see a potential break of channel and then push to the higher side. So we will be watching our RSI scanner as well as our volume and play it accordingly. Another stock that we'll be watching is Apple. Darren also has a nice little note up here on all these stocks for everybody. So he's watching Apple to see if this 3-day retracement ends here or if we start a downtrend to give up all of its breakout gains. Those breakout gains, just to remind everybody, was because of the EV sector joining with Apple. We're still very bullish here, and I want to see a break or a rejection at that 134.50 level. So right over here on this little circle right here on this top line, we want to see a retest of 134.50. Darren, you did a really nice job on these charts, man. Kudos to you, dude. Good job. These are some nice charts. This is PayPal here, guys. So we could see a nice support being built up on PayPal at that 229 level, I believe. Yeah, 229 level. So you can see Darren has alerts set at 229 as well as 235. You can see these little golden marks right here. That means that's an alert through the TOS system. We could see really nice volume stepping in. The volume on PayPal lately has been very, very high ever since we had that cryptocurrency acquisition. As you could see, the volume bars right over here are way above the golden line. PayPal had a great run. Be watching it closely to see if we will make another run to all-time highs. ATH stands for all-time highs. Or we'll see a potential double top at that potential like 246 level. My alerts are set on for potential plays on both sides. Okay, great. Yeah. Love PayPal here as well. Darren, those are great charts, as well as Neo right here. So we can see this bottom line we've been using for support, and then we could see this top line around that $50 mark has been our resistance. It did touch above that $50 range, and we on Thursday, so we do want to see how it opens up come Monday morning, obviously tomorrow. But one potential play would be a small pullback to this 46 level where we have alerts set, and we would want to play the bounce off of 46. 46 would be a blessing for us for a great entry, and then we could ride it back up to a minimum 50, or we'll also be watching the 48 level. But if this does break and hold above 50.50, which was its high on Thursday where it got rejected, we will be playing it on the upside above 50.50. So Neo is probably the golden watch, the golden goose going into this week. Darren, thank you again for those charts. Those were great. Yeah, Josh. So if you're not familiar with what an option actually is, I'm going to just show you real quick so you could look up a price on options. So this is TOS. I'm not sure if you trade with TOS or not. This is stock Apple. So you go over to trade right here, and then this will pull up something called an options chain for you. So an options contract, of course, watch some YouTube videos on it under our learning section to learn more about them and how they work. They have an expiration date and a strike price. So this would be the expiration date, January 8th, January 15th, the 22nd, etc., etc. That's when your contract expires. If your contract goes into its specific strike price, let me just pull up more strikes for you right here. So this is, I know this looks a little crazy at first, but so look, this is January 8th contract, and this is your specific strike price right here. You can see January 8th and strike price. So the ask price of a current contract for Apple at $135 would be $1.53. So that means that contract is $153. So for this contract, if the stock goes above $135, it's called being in the money. Once a stock is in the money, the contract will continue to rise. For every 1% move in the contract, it's estimated that the contract's for every 1% move in the stock price, it's estimated that the contract will move anywhere from 10 to 20% based on your strike price and your expiration. Which we calculate through our Greeks, which is, of course, this is all stuff that you'll need to learn. But for example, for that 135, we would look at your delta right here. So for every $1 move in the contract, or in the stock price, so if Apple went from $133 to $134, that means you would make $36 right here at your delta. So that means that if the stock price moved $1 from $133 to $134, you would make a $36 return on your $150 investment. So that means that your contract would go from $1.53 to about $1.90. Which would then in return make you $36 for a $1 move, which is less than 1% in Apple. So that's why we like trading options, is because of the amount of return so quickly that we get. But yeah, Josh, I would definitely watch some videos on options, which we have posted under our learning materials section of the group. Guys, if we have any more questions, go ahead and shoot them. I'm going to probably end this in about a minute or so. All right, guys, I'm going to end it all here. Thank you for everybody that did tune in. I know it was a little bit smaller of a group today. That's okay, guys. We will be trading live at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, we will all be live in the Discord under the live chat section, right over here under live chat under No Cap Trading Live. We will be calling out all of our plays, what we see in the morning, all of our key levels. If you guys do have any questions, please tune in tomorrow to the live and ask away. Of course, like I said, please, show some respect and stay on mute until we do have questions. Feel free to talk and interact, of course, but we just try to keep the background noise as minimal as possible. Thanks again for everybody that did tune in. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the live. Have a good night now.